Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. What's going on, everyone? Welcome. Um, this is obviously the last post game show that we're doing of the year, but we're just gonna thrive in it, milk it. I can't even say that I really milk it. And just as we are about to start, there's Kate. He's here. Um, welcome everyone to River City 93. I'm your host, as always, Elliot Barr. Joining me is Mr. Matt Myers, the man who predictably loved to watch the pink birds flounder in their own crap. Also joined us because her laptop died like Domingo's hopes. Is Miss Kate. How are y'all guys doing? How's everything going a full 48 hours after I would like to say is the probably the best win of the season so far? Well, of all.
I mean, what else could it possibly have been?
Yeah, not many to choose from.
Look,
That's true.
look, good old we're good librarians. We bookended this shit this year.
We did.
Ignore the middle. Nobody looks in the middle at a library anyway, right? Yeah, look at the ends of the shelves, and
Right.
nailed it.
No, we did. It was absolutely glorious.
If seasons were decided by how many goals you score in your wins on match day 1 and match day 30, the Kickers would have the season in hand easily. But unfortunately, you have to play 28 other matches. So
look, the start of the season and the end of the season, we were there. We were there, baby. Not so much in the middle, but I mean, hey, we're gonna keep the good vibes going because you know what, y'all, going into this game, and it's not even right because I ain't gonna lie to you, I didn't have the most amount of hope because I was not expecting good things to happen. I was fearing the worst. Matt, you were with it. You were like, hey, if we gonna have a crappy day, someone else is gonna have a crappy day with us, and it was Madison because all they needed was a win. A win. Because lo and behold, Charlotte crapped the bed. Avialta the night before drew. So it left the door open. And Madison just couldn't step through it.
And you know what the best part about this is in retrospect?
Yeah.
They actually scored first and it gave them that glimmer, that gave them that hope, gave them that belief that they would actually do something that they've never done in their past and achieve. And they're like, nah, you know what? No, y'all, this ain't for us. Let's roll this back. We need to take our seat back. At the kiddie table, be the punching bag for the league. And you know what, y'all? You do it better than anybody else.
Like, man.
Wouldn't they say they look good doing it? Because that's all they have to hang their hat on.
I wouldn't say they look good either. Like, when did they become an orange team?
Yeah. Why didn't they just go with flamingo pink originally? Why did they even pick another color?
Actually, it's easy because, look, y'all go to the store, you get yourself, a nice, cut of fish, a salmon or something. Pink, right?
Yeah.
Cook that shit. What's it end up looking like? It's orange.
Yeah.
That was just unconscious admission they were cooked right from the start.
Man. That's the thing too. Like, for all the stuff that we said about Darren being on the hot seat, Matt Glazer is on the hottest of hot seats, dog. Like, it was one point.
Keep that man. Keep that man.
There was one point I laughed during the broadcast because whoever the cameraman was fouled. Because they cut to this man, like when it was 5-1, as soon as Kicker scored the 5th goal, they cut to him. And you just see him sitting there like, just like,
Why should he try at that point? His players weren't.
Yeah. No. They didn't get back to defend. They'd given up.
Shout out to them.
Shout out to them. Like, man, and look. Yeah, Forward Madison won the Henny Derby. Okay, cool, whatever. This is now twice. The Kickers probably have the bigger wins in the series. First is winning the league at their field. They don't like to admit that. And then secondly is keeping you out of the playoffs. And arguably the worst Kickers team in USL League One history. Like the worst team. Had the best performance. Me and Matt were just looking it up. Kate, guess the last time this team scored 5 goals in a league game, not an Open Cup game, but a league game.
In any league?
In any league
that they've been a part of? Oh goodness, I don't know, like 2011 or something.
Damn,
I have a little more faith in that. Come on. 2015 or 2014, one of those.
2014. Dane's Dutch Lions. They scored, I think it was 6-1, Matt, that we counted. I think
it was 5 or 6. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but that was the last time they scored 5 in a league game.
But it's not even the fact that happened. Imagine they got beat by. They came in here and they got dog walked.
Mm-hmm.
Coming off of, playing Omaha and getting dog walked 4-0 by them.
and that's the thing. You lost to your 2 biggest rivals. The 2 teams who you despise. It lost 9-1. 9-1.
With a penalty miss in there too.
And all you needed was 2 points. You literally could have drawn these last 2 games to get into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
That's horrendous.
They went big and they went home, and you love to see it.
Yeah. They gave up 43 goals on the year. They gave up 9 of those in the last 2 games. That's over 20% in the last 2 games. Like, that defense was actually, good and respectable. Before it came time to get the job done.
Not anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, we can keep dunking on them, or we can talk about how fun and awesome and amazing the actual game was, and our guys were wrapping up the season.
Yeah.
Still do both. Like, I think I'm always up for pot shots along the way. Don't get me wrong here.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Well, I'll let y'all talk about the start of the game because obviously I wasn't there to start. I was at Virginia State University homecoming. But before we get into all of that, guys, we just want to say make sure you like, share, and subscribe. If you want to donate to the podcast, you can clearly do so at rivercity93.com/donate. But I'll let Matt and Kate talk about how the start of the game went because when I walked in, it was already 1-0 down, and I was like, oh, crap. The apocalypse is about to happen.
Yeah, so they started out. So the big thing at first, massive pregame scare, for everybody involved. Shockingly, we got an inaccurate lineup graphic that got leaked out in advance, which had Emi nowhere in the team, and people getting ready at the tailgate to light pull up their pitchforks, light their torches, whatever, and burn the place down before the game started.
Oh wow!
Then 5 minutes later, it gets updated and everybody calms down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, false alarm.
Okay. That's not fun.
No. Yeah. No. Our expectations were low, and that felt like going even lower than we could have anticipated. But turns out, yeah, somebody just had. I don't know what graphic they posted because I don't know in what circumstance that was the right graphic. Maybe it was last week's graphic just posted again, but it was deleted and re-uploaded.
Somebody was like, you might want to fix that. Fix that.
Yeah, back to a lineup. I'm sure we've seen this lineup at some point, this year. Sneddon in goal, Marcel and Griffin in the middle this time, back out wide because Maxey was out, and then Simon just doing his Simon thing out there. Dak and Chandler in the midfield. Neil's kind of in front of them, and then our dribbly boy lineup up front. Bill Hart, Darwin, and Emi.
Yeah. No Kirkland, which it didn't bother me too much. But yeah, I mean, now when I walked into the stadium, I saw it was 1-0. With going back to see the goal that we conceded, I'm not even mad at it because that was just a hell of a shot.
It was Darwin-esque, even.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Darwin, Red Army Player of the Year. Shout out to him. Had his kids out there in the field and everything. Yeah.
But even before that, like there were chances that came to the kickers. Like Bill Hart got in behind. Like if he had last year's speed, I think it might go a little bit better. But he kind of tries to round the keeper a little bit, but then I don't know if he got wrong-footed or if his right foot is only for balancing purposes. But he tries to flick it back around with his left foot, and it's just off target the whole way through. But that was a really good early chance. But I thought the game was fairly even, all the way up to the Madison goal. Like there's some stuff going on, but nothing like terribly dangerous in any direction.
Yeah. And I think it kind of felt like one of the biggest issues we've had with the attack is just like overplaying it a bit. Like the first like 15 or so minutes, they did keep making the extra pass, or Bill Hart, we took a little too many touches when he got in the box instead of just ripping it at, the first time he had an open opportunity. Darwin, I think, also could have taken one, and he ended up squaring it over to Niels. So there were a couple where I think if later on in the match, they clearly shook that off and were a lot more willing to shoot at the first opportunity. But that kind of felt like the first 15 minutes is what we saw a lot, is just good opportunities, but for some reason making an extra pass or taking an extra touch instead of just.
Yeah, we saw the downside of the Dancy Boys in the first half. Second half, we saw the upside of Dancy Boys play. But yeah. But then I mean, I won't say right after Madison scored, but not too long after it, like the tides changed and changed pretty dramatically.
The broadcast was happy to attribute it to the goalkeeping switch, which I don't know is entirely fair to James, but maybe it was some sort of reverse like karma for James's run of form when he first came into the team, that Pablo had a mini version of that tonight, and using the opportunity given to him to sort of reach new heights. But he was amped as soon as he came in.
It still blows my mind that Pablo is going to leave, more than likely leave Richmond without ever having a clean sheet victory.
No, screw that. He gets this.
He kept a clean sheet. We'll give him that. What did he have? 60 minutes. He had 60 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, we were down when he came. And the baseball relief pitcher. Comes in. He gets the dub. He picks a shutout.
He did.
Pen save.
He'd get clean sheet points in fantasy because he played 60 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like when the PK happened, which by the way, was a stone cold. It was definitely a pen.
Oh, I mean,
like I was just like, all right, this is the moment. It's gonna be tied up.
No. We're talking happy right now. We're not talking any of these kind of bad vibes.
Well,
we got 5 goals to talk about.
Right.
I thought it was what they said. Oh, he used all of his expertise. Griffin didn't even put a tackle in. Griffin passed the ball. It was like he actually didn't even put a tackle in. The Madison player just went across him cleverly. They'll call that clever center forward play. But Griffin didn't put a tackle in on that player. That player ran across Griffin as Griffin was passing the ball and made clean contact with the ball. As he followed through, the player went through his leg. In my reading of the situation, we obviously didn't get a great angle, but Griffin didn't put a tackle in on the player, which I thought, of all the missed penalties or the non-penalty calls we've seen, that one was We've seen that one not called many times.
Yes.
So it was definitely
all I can say is this: when Gebhardt stepped up and he missed it, I was like, this could not happen to a better person.
Oh no, there are better people it could have happened to on their team, but again, good for Pablo, but why are we fast forwarding through 3 goals?
No. We're starting with it. Look, we're getting all the negative out of it, and then we're going to talk about each goal because each goal gets progressively funnier as it happens, and you can just see even the Madison players just look at us and like, but yeah, I mean, look, the first goal that got scored, I think I was. What was I doing? Oh, I was getting ready to walk into the stadium, and I heard the first goal go.
Mm-hmm.
Then by the time I get to section O, the second goal. Then after I greet everyone, Lodge heads it in, and we're up 3-1 at halftime. But yes, man, let's start off with the first goal because y'all saw it in person live when I was in security live.
Yeah, I mean, really good strike by Niels. Like both his goals were pretty similar. I mean, the first one's a little more challenging because Madison was trying, but some good dribbling around the box. I can't remember who passed it, who actually got the ball to him, but he kind of gets it around the corner of the D and just able to create a little bit of space for himself and just really rips a good low shot. And it's the kind of shot that if I was a goalkeeper, I have to imagine would be a real pain to deal with because he strikes it in a way where it bounces like on the 6. So you can't just slide low. You got to try to figure out what that bounce is going to look like too.
Yeah.
And it was able to find side netting
Mm-hmm.
from there. It's almost kind of like an inverse Darwin, except low instead of Darwin picking out top upper 90s usually. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, I think the overall theme is like this is awesome. Like you're capable of this. Where was it all year?
Yeah.
Because that was a nice goal. Like
Yeah. And similar in that I think it was Darwin who brought the ball out of the air and then crossed it back across the 18, outside the 18 to Niels, who I don't think any of us thought it was a shooting chance, like when he got the ball on his feet, because he was so far outside the box. There were a lot of players in the box. I wouldn't necessarily say it looked like the XG must have been low on that one. So I think it took us all by surprise that he even took it on, especially since this team doesn't often take shots like that on. They seem like they try to walk it in. So for me, it felt like it didn't come out of nowhere in terms of the run of play, but it came out of nowhere in terms of it wasn't like a clear cut shooting chance. All of a sudden he just ripped one and it was in. And
yeah.
he actually ran over to us, which was also kind of nice.
Well,
Right.
the even better part is I think it was literally 75 seconds later. It's 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Vintage Emi too.
Yeah, I didn't bother to look back to see when the last time we scored like 2 in quick succession like that was either, but literally from goal going in to goal going in. So that includes all the celebration time,
Mm-hmm.
too, because kickoff comes and quite quickly,
Yeah.
Emi's stealing the ball, and in true Emi fashion, he's like, "Oh, I'm open from 30. Yup,
Bet.
let me rip it." Good shot that got saved. But I think it was Bill Hart who's able to get on the loose ball and cross it right back in, and Emi gets into prime vintage Emi territory of all right 30 yards. Yeah, you've done that once or twice. 6 yards out. Yeah, you got a whole YouTube reel of 6-yarders,
Right.
and just rips it straight in. So I mean, to go from having that worry of, oh no, are we really going to let them in, to literally less than 2 minutes later, we're up.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice. Not going to lie. I could get into that.
Yeah. And then then this is the goal I saw was Marcelo Lars make it 3-1. And by the way, this is like a glorious header because like the way how he just peeled away from his man and just headed it in, it kind of reminded me, huh?
That's not the way I saw it. I'll give my version.
Oh, how did you see it? I saw like he peeled away and just headed it in. Like it just looked great to me. But how did you see it?
So it's on the corner. I saw it as he just big boyed, whoever, I don't remember who number 6 is for them, but he just big boyed him because I was looking at it and dude had him in a bear hug, and Marcelo was just like, okay, I'm 6'5", you're not. Ball hits me in the head, goes in the goal. Good on you.
Right. I mean,
the broadcast did mention the height mismatch. They were like, that is not one that Madison would have been happy with.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, but I was happy with, so.
Well,
I mean, at that point, it's 3-1. And I'm like, all right, with this.
Yeah. And I feel like there's probably 1 or 2 other ones we could have had in that first half.
Oh, yeah.
As well.
So Bill Hart
had like 3 breakaways.
I feel like between the second and third goal, there's another one that, it's maybe not a perfect chance, but like it was almost like 3 in quick succession because there's a little gap between, Emi and Marcelo. But I'm going back to Emi's goal too. You could see when you came over to celebrate, like there's actual emotion and meaning behind it, not just we're ahead, guys. Like you could see him kind of recognizing the moment, the potential like finality of it all, and it added a little something.
It is. It was also nice because it was in front of Section O. It definitely, like you said, it'd been more like that. But then finding out what we found out, that this would be his last game, and it was just a vintage Emi goal. Like, it couldn't be written any better.
Mm-hmm.
And to do it against your biggest rival, it makes it all so much sweeter.
Mm-hmm. I cried rewatching the broadcast when that goal happened.
Look, man, it's
like just the shot of him going up to the wall, and somebody had ordered a bunch of gold crowns on Amazon. I really hope they post more pictures because there's so many great ones. Emi posted one on his story that I think one of the photographers just posted, because it hasn't been posted by the official account, but everybody in the section, like especially along the wall, all had gold crowns on. And when he scored, everyone took them off and are holding them towards him as he runs towards the wall. So there's like all these hands and gold crowns like reaching towards him as he's like hugging someone along the wall. So it's just this like symbolic photo of everyone like literally coronating him at the, this end point of his career. It's like, and all the hands, it looks like a Renaissance painting. Like it's just, I really hope that they release some more footage from that, because that celebration, and he took time to high five pretty much everyone along the wall. And it just, the visuals of it, I think, actually lived up to the moment itself. So I really hope we get more photos and videos from that, because it really, it looked as good as it felt.
Yeah. I mean, we all know how special Emi is to what he's done for this club in 2020. Like, this guy's a 3-time Golden Boot winner, 3-time All USL first team, 3-time MVP. Like, the accolades can call itself. But I mean, just what he meant not only to Richmond, but like, you can also say like he's a big reason of why we have the Latin fan base that we do now. Like, he's a big part of that. Like, it's the ending of an era in a good way. Like, I'm glad he was able to get his flowers. I'm glad he was able to be part of it and whatnot. To see his wife out there on the field, his kids, to see how emotional they were. It was just great overall to see. And I was thinking about this like before we started recording, and I want to see how you guys feel about it. Obviously, we know this club has a plethora of great players, but there's very few retired jerseys. Is Emi's jersey one of those that were like is retired or semi-retired? Like, is it going to be a while before we see someone rocking 32?
I mean, I don't think there's none that are retired at this point. Like they brought 6 and 13 back, into rotation. So like, there's nothing that is off limits as far as I'm aware right now. So I'm not a big fan of retiring numbers anyway, because I don't want us to become the club where tons of guys wearing like 51 and 77 and just wacky stuff like that. Like build on the tradition. Like maybe 32 doesn't go right back in, but you get the right guy who wants to step up to the mantle of wearing it. Okay,
So make it like we're Man United, like the 7 is the big player number. Like give it to the best attacker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean maybe, but I mean there's plenty of other things that could be that. I think it's good for it to be like recognized as something, but I don't think you take it out of the rotation entirely, just because like everything comes full circle, at some point, and who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the next one to step up, in 32 is even better.
Yeah,
it is definitely interesting because it is such an unusual number that it's not like it's a number like most squads have a 32 to begin with. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily one where it's not like retiring the 10 where like, oh yeah, that's a jersey that every squad is going to have a 10. Like it's an unusual enough one that I wonder if any like I would doubt another player would randomly have like a personal connection to that number the way Emi did to choose to wear it. But on the other hand, it could become on a very local level, like a like a 23, where a number that previously had no significance gains a level of
yeah.
icon simply because it was sort of originated by a player of such legendary status. So there is kind of that option where it in Richmond specifically gains a cult following. Because I mean, I don't know of any other player who at the senior level has a number like, I mean, Mickey Van de Ven wears 37 for Tottenham, but most
And the
people
32 that
really,
comes to mind right away, I think Tevez wore 32 for most of his club teams.
Yeah, I think so.
So maybe it's an Argentinian thing. I don't know.
yeah, maybe, yeah. So it is kind of an interesting one where the likelihood that somebody independent of Emi chooses it for their number feels low. But on the other hand, there were kids crying in the stands last night. Maybe they play for the Kickers and they grow up and it's their dream to play for the Kickers and wear the number 32. So it could sort of become iconic.
You know what I can
in
see
this day.
happening? Oh yeah. You know what I can see happening is like for the next 3-4 years, like 32 is going to be like the safe number to get if you don't know anyone in the team. Like like kind of like the throwback number, like how people get like other players' numbers and whatnot. Like that's the number people are gonna get. And whatnot.
Right. Yeah. It's just like the Richmond number. Like if you have a Kickers jersey with 32 on it, yeah, it's like iconically Richmond.
That's the number. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah. What I wish, oh my god, if the Kickers were able to, I know they can't now because they were Hummel, but if they could just like get some of those throwback jerseys and just release them, oh my god. Like the green Kickers jersey, 32. Oh, that would do numbers. That would do numbers if they can resell that. But we still have a whole second half to talk about, and like I was talking about earlier,
More goals.
was the
more goals,
more goals, more happiness. Really, the whole turning point of this is the PK save by Pablo and all the emotion. He literally repeated what he did last year. I don't know what it is about Pablo and Henny Derbies, but when the moment arises, Pablo go kick something, and Pablo saved his goal, and I'm surprised he didn't break the goalpost on this one. How hard he kicked it, because I heard it in the stands.
Like he already done one goal in this year. He needs to tone it down, because if we had to walk that game back at a 3-1 up and a penalty miss, no, we would have had words with Pablo at that point.
It would have gone from put him on a 6-month deal to Pablo pack your shit.
Yeah. It's like you were not breaking this
risk by kicking that goalpost, because he'd have easily broke his foot. Because Jay Steady had to get subbed out I hope he's okay for badly rolling his ankle and whatnot. But yeah, Pablo stepped up huge, man. He made like 3 crucial saves in like what, a 10-minute span. All of them on the line.
Yeah, because there's that one that came off, the crossbar and kind of bounced around, and I want to give him credit for the save. Yeah, it might have just found its way to him, if he knew much about it or not. But he gets credit for the save, right there. And there was a good like 5 or 10 minutes where it was a little nervy, but then we just lay the hammer on him, just like Pablo. As much as he wanted to lay the hammer on the goalpost, he wanted to lay the hammer on the biggest pest. Little I don't know how blue I want to work here. The most annoying man in USL League One history, Devin Boyce.
Yes,
the biggest front runner ever.
A dear friend of ours called us a psychopath-looking man.
Like,
we won't name names, but
and this is the thing too. I don't know how y'all feel about it, but like, is this really the first testy moment in a Henny Derby? Like, there's never been like a feisty, like, a fight's about to break out. There were like 2 or 3 fights about to break out in this game.
I can't remember.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't remember any, but like, I definitely remember sitting there like watching this game, and I was just like, "Oh, Forward Madison is pissed, and they're trying everything. They were trying to dive. They were trying to."
But it was like, it only did last though like 20 minutes, because then once the other goals went in, the fight just went out of them so hard that it was like they couldn't even muster up the gumption to try to like pick any fights. They had like a brief 20-minute window where they were like up for it, and then
we saw Dak step to that man. We saw Pablo step to that man.
He did.
We saw Simon want to, but the other guys wouldn't let him.
Hey, no,
it was bad.
If Simon would have got there, Simon would have got a red. Like, Simon would have got a red, and I wouldn't have blamed him, because that like, low-key, that's a dangerous play. Like,
very dangerous
in the air, and you're just coming in and just shoving him.
Simon didn't know he was behind him.
Face first into a pole. Simon would have been blacked out blue. And you know his wife in the stands. You know his wife a fighter. She would have dog. It would have been bad for him.
Yeah, it was. I'm honestly surprised. I would have given him yellow for that. The commentator kept saying, "Oh, well, he was just honestly going for the ball," but
and he probably was, but still, it's a dangerous play. Like,
very.
Do you think it's any coincidence that it was 2 guys who have been around the league for a long time are the ones who want to step to Boyce? They're like, this is my moment. I've been dealing with your bitch ass for how long right now?
I've been waiting for this, and we know Dak. If nothing else, Dak liked to fight. Saw it in Westchester. Saw it in Naples. Dak liked to fight.
And Dak and Pablo went in, and only the Madison players were the ones stepping in to break it up, because they probably knew that their guy had, all the subs were standing right there. They all saw it. They knew that he was in the wrong. That was a dick ass move.
They didn't step in because they didn't want to help that dude.
Yeah.
No, they're like, I kind of get this one. Give him a little one for me too while you're in there.
I get it.
But
I mean, look,
that man just better be glad that Hayden hadn't been subbed on yet by then, because
oh my god.
Oh. I bet Hayden bites.
Bet? It's like the worst bet you could possibly make. Like, who's going to bet against you on that?
Oh man,
and nobody would even notice, because it would be like elbow level.
No, there's one thing we learned this year about Hayden Anderson. He makes himself known on the field.
Yeah. Like, Hayden's the one that, if there's ever a scrum, he's the one that goes in half first without a helmet. Like, he is,
he's about that life.
Yeah. Like, if there was ever CTE in soccer, Hayden Anderson is the poster child for it. That's him. He is gung ho.
We wouldn't want him any other way.
Yeah. He's the new Luke Pavone, the crash test dummy. That's him.
Mm-hmm.
That's him. As you can tell, we're not talking any taxes. It's purely all vibes because that's what this game was. Because the moment that I saw the light go out in Forward Madison players was Bill Hart goal when he literally he just danced around them. The goalkeeper fell. 2 players fell.
Oh, no, you're underselling it because it was immediately preceded by Darwin dancing on him, which was immediately preceded by Emi dancing on him.
Oh man!
But that might be one of my favorite, goals of the year because, not because of like the final, touch or anything. That was pretty easy at that point. Like I think any of us could have scored it at that point. But all the little build up before it was kind of the encapsulation of everything this team had wanted to build towards. Emi getting in and for one of the first times ever, and this has not been a shade, not taking the shot and kind of pulling it back, driving it to Darwin, who not taking the shot, finds the better pass to open Bill Hart, who doesn't take the shot right away and takes the step around. Like all the stuff that has driven us absolutely insane all year. You see when it comes together and works right, it looks so pretty.
It does.
And also it's completely demoralizing to the other team.
Yeah. They're all on their ass.
They were, bro, because like as soon as it happened, all of them just sat there. They're just like,
"Oh yeah." At 3-1, you can talk yourself into okay. We get a goal. We're right back in this. 4-1, knowing you got to get 4 more goals in the next 20-25 minutes. It feels like a completely different situation.
Especially on top of a PK miss.
Mm-hmm.
That like those 2 plays changed the whole momentum.
Yeah.
Because anything after that was consolation. Like the 5th goal for Richmond was just like taking candy from a baby. Like,
well, that was the 5th one was after another one that got pulled out for an offside.
Yeah.
And in fairness, Madison, like I get it, there's no point in them playing defense at that point because they just desperately needed goals. So that's why on goal 5, like I know Kate had mentioned this in a group chat, like it's like a 4-on-3 or something, and
yeah, it's
like
a
5 seconds before
3v2, and then it's 3v2 with absolutely no players in the rest of the frame, and then the only player who comes crashing in is Simon Fitch to make it 4-on-2.
and that takes a few seconds for him to even get there.
Yeah. And then it's still like 5 or 6 seconds after that do any Madison players make their way onto the camera.
And all the time, Matt Glazing sitting on the bench like, yes, it's time to put the house on the market.
But yeah, Neil's with another really good finish. A little closer, but once again picked out the far corner, like literally picked out the exact corner of the goal that time. Really clinical finish. I mean, not much pressure on him, but still you got to hit that exactly right to be able to do what he did, and credit him. He pinged it straight in.
Yeah, he did. And I mean, like, look, I think has this season been perfect or what we wanted to be? Hell no. It has not lived up to anybody's expectations. I even went back and looked at our preseason predictions, even our mid-season predictions, which we will talk about next Sunday. Tune in for that. That'll be a fun show. When we go back and laugh at our preseason predictions. But a 5-1 in a Derby game to keep them out, I mean, man. And the way it's not the score, it's the way how Richmond did it. Like Madison scored first. And in all other games, even in the games leading up to this, we have seen this team just phone it in after they scored. But man, it just seems like the stars aligned on that night. Like, didn't ask for anything better. You couldn't.
And one thing that stood out as I was rewatching it, I watched it right before we came on. The defensive headers specifically, like the blocking in general, was better than normal, but the headers, like the corners, the headers, they weren't just connecting with the ball, but the headers were actually getting the ball out of dangerous positions, like almost to a play where like they'd get their head on the ball and actually redirect it like towards the other corner, towards the sideline, out, instead of, like ricocheting around the box or heading it up or putting it back into danger. It was a level of composure at the back that I don't know if we've seen too often. And it was, their job was of course made easier by how increasingly desperate Madison was. So they weren't putting together their best, but the composure and the actual quality of the defending was higher than we've seen. And I just was continually impressed at the heading in particular. Like, it was a masterclass from nearly every player in terms of getting the ball out. I mean, even in the penalty save, Pablo pushes it out wide. Fitch gets on the ball. He whacks it, and you're like, oh, this is going out. It's not going out. It's a perfectly placed ball up the sideline that Bill Hart runs onto, starts a counterattack. Like, the composure in the defending was.
Just imagine if we scored on that counter.
Oh no! It looked like Watford, Leicester. I know
bro,
Chris is listening to this. He's appreciating the shout out there.
Imagine the scenes in Section O if we scored on that counter. I think Madison would have canceled the Henny Derby. It would be like, all right, we're done. We're winning the championship. We're done.
Yeah.
We're pulling
I think the other moment that bears mentioning. So Emi kind of gets his swan song, the right term for it here. He gets subbed. He gets subbed out. Like, I was surprised he moved as quickly as he did getting off the field there. If I was him, I would have been milking it a lot more. Yeah, but
I would have taken the shin pads out, rolled down the socks.
I guess
unbutton the jersey.
So that was really nice that Darren was able to. Darren was able to do that. But I think the part that was really easy to miss through all that is it was Matt Boulder coming in for him. The only guy who's left from when he Emi got here. Boulder just coming back from a significant injury as well. So I think no disrespect meant to like some of the various young guys that were on the bench, but I think it might have a little bit more meaning if that being the substitution than if it Emi coming off for like Grafton or somebody.
Yeah, I was about to say,
right?
Which of these kids is about to catch a stray right now from that? About the insignificance of his sub.
So that was I think just a nice moment that we were able to engineer that to happen. Especially knowing that we had to burn a sub in the first half for a keeper, which there's no chance that was anywhere in the script that Darren and Mika had in place. So I'm glad that was able to happen.
Yeah, and also like in the midst of us talking about this being Emi's last game, like you just mentioned, this is Mika's last game as well. His last here before he heads off to Sarasota at the end of the month, and it was nice for him to walk away. Obviously he didn't get as many flowers given to him as Emi did, but Mika's been a big part of this. Like, you talk about Bulldog, being the last bone. Like, Mika and Matt are the last two pieces of pre-Darren. Like, they're the last size to Bulow and whatnot, in a sense. And just to think about that, man, is just like it's more sentimental, just because of what that 2019 means to me. What Mika has meant to this community and whatnot. Like, he's a big reason why the academy is how strong it is. And, I wish him all the best there in Sarasota. I don't wish him the best when he comes back to City Stadium. Because I told him, like, don't act like these coaches who don't acknowledge fans when they can obviously hear us. Like, you better come over to Section O and talk to us before the game. But yeah, man, I mean, it was good to send both of those to two guys who have had one behind the scenes, one obviously in front of, who's been a big part of building the Kickers to what they are on and off the field.
Yeah, and for all the other guys, like it's League One. There's going to be turnover anyway.
Yeah.
We know that year to year. So there's probably a lot of guys who probably knew it wasn't this is going to be their last time out there. Wasn't that maybe not public yet. Maybe not as prominent of names, but I've got to imagine for them being able to go out a situation like that rather than some of the other type of games that have been happening all year. It's got to be kind of a nice final moment to remember their time in Richmond by.
Yeah, it was, as I'll put it, it was a nice close to the Emi Terzaghi era, like from 2020, 2025, 5 years.
6.
Yeah, well, 6. Yeah, you're right. It really was. We climbed all the way to the peak, and we saw.
Yeah, but you want to know the final best part about this game?
Yeah,
the ref, just literally, putting the final disrespect on Madison for the season by blowing for the final whistle right at 90.
Yep.
He's like, I'm going to mercy kill you. We're not doing stoppage time.
It was just like, yeah, we're ending this. It's just like, damn. Oh, it was great. It was great. It was great to not be on the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's great not to be on the end of it. And I mean, we have seen this team get embarrassed. Like,
no, we're not talking about that right. We're not talking about that today. We're talking about laying the absolute wood to Madison. So unless you have good things to say about the Kickers or bad things to say about Madison, we're not doing it.
Right.
And I got a podcast to do tomorrow with Kyle, and I'm just gonna the entire time just be like, just do random things in 5 and see how long it takes to catch on.
There's no way, unless you're Ted, that you would know this story. Right after the game, this man that we're on the podcast with, calls his Madison friend on FaceTime, literally within like 3 minutes of the final whistle. That guy answers the phone. What are you doing? Like, I would never answer that phone call in that moment.
Self-harm.
Like, I mean,
yeah, it was nothing positive.
I don't know if it's respect or we need to get you to a clinic to get some cognitive function checked out, my man.
I didn't even say it. I just started laughing when he picked up. And I was just like, dog.
Yeah. I will say also the great thing, I love the Henny Derby trophy, like the series winner, I love that exists. But at the end of the day, you don't remember intangibles, like who had the winning record at the end of the season. You remember results. And I love that in 2 of our worst seasons, it doesn't matter who took the trophy home. It was great that one of those times we had the Henny Derby trophy and one season we didn't. But no one's going to remember the fact that we didn't win the Henny Derby trophy this season, because everyone's just going to remember how badly Madison got dunked on and how up in flames they went to crash out of the playoffs, in the same way that last year nobody remembers, necessarily who took the trophy home, but everyone remembers that iconic goal on national TV and the entire stadium erupting. Moments are what matter. And so, you know what? This match might not amend anything in the span of who has that Henny Derby trophy, but no one's gonna remember that they won the Henny Derby trophy a couple years from now. They're gonna remember the epic flame out crash out of this team, and Kickers are gonna walk away with the better story to tell, and I'll take that any day.
You know what I would love to ask a Madison fan? Like, honestly, if I could put them on a lie detector test, it'd be like, yo, give me your top 5 moments of the Henny Derby. And I guarantee you, at least 3 of those moments are Richmond Kickers winning at the death. I guarantee.
Oh, you meant over? I thought you meant for their own.
Overall, what are the 5 biggest moments in Derby history?
Yeah.
And I guarantee you 3 of them are Richmond Kickers.
The top 3 are Richmond Kickers winning the league at them, winning it at the death on national TV, and just when you base the significance of the moment of the match. All right, you won a routine 2-1 win at home. Congratulations. Oh my God, that doesn't even count. Maxi Sports Center top 10 bicycle kick in a Henny Derby. Like, when you think iconic moments, it's all Kickers.
And that's the thing. Like, even the first game ever, Daniel Jackson coast to coast goal. Like, then on top of that, like, this is the thing. This is how bad it has been. All the bigger games have been in Richmond.
I'd say 2022 one nice and big.
Well, yes, but like the national televised ones have all been in Richmond. Then on top of that, like, like the most iconic goal. Mind you, these guys just scored a 96-minute winner. Have we heard any or seen anything about that recently? Nope. But he's still showing back the Maxi bike from a year ago. That Bay Sports Center, like, it's just, it's hilarious. And like,
all they got is jerseys. We actually have the iconic moments on the field. We have iconic moments.
The funny thing about this is like, I started putting out memes on like the Indiana like choke. It's just everything. Like, it was just so, like, you choked it. Like, they. And the thing is, it makes it so much better because it's not like Charlotte won and they were eliminated, by that. You were eliminated by us. And Charlotte lost.
Yes. You know what makes it even better? Y'all non-believers not having any faith, in our boys, and
none,
not having any faith in their guys to, just always bring out the worst in themselves. Believe it. Believe. If you're not going to believe in us, believe in the anti-them.
Like,
they don't have what it takes.
That choke was real, man.
Yeah. One more time, I told y'all so last week.
You did. I will admit it. You did. I did not believe. I was like, I was ready to pull up to the stadium and just see y'all like angrily pissed. I was so ready for it. And it didn't turn out that way. We scored five in a row. It's not like we scored one and then they scored. No. They scored a little cute goal, had hope. And then from there on out.
They thought maybe they had their highlight reel. They were like, ooh, we actually scored like a good goal too. Like, ooh, maybe this will like matter. Wow, for once, maybe something that we do in the Henny Derby will matter. No. Sorry. Consigned to the sands of time, I fear.
Like, no one's going to remember that goal.
No. I didn't even remember that goal until you brought it up. Just now. I forgot they even scored a decent goal.
Like, as I say, man, it just, when you go back and look over the history of this game, where are the iconic moments? Because even with Chandler's header, you still got Emi in the 88th minute, and that was back in 2021. Daniel Jackson's goal. Like, it leans very heavily Richmond.
We have the streets. They might have the official record, but we have the streets.
Yeah, like they can make the little banner saying how many trophies they won. That's cute.
That's not going to take them very long.
Your place. And we kept
I just did it for them. I'm done. So, also, I think we need to raise the banner. Transitive champions. Knoxville technically wins the league. I mean, we won the series against them.
Yeah.
Raise the banner.
Also, they lied. Yep. They said they won 15 straight home games. Last I checked, your home game was in Richmond, and you lost.
I think that was the one we lost, but
whatever. I couldn't remember. It was 3 straight in Richmond.
Yeah. But moral of the story: who's the real champs?
Yeah. It's the circle of relativity. We won. We beat the world champions, and we did it. And this little extra series that they're about to play doesn't matter because the Kickers won the day. We won the real trophy, and that was keeping Madison out of the playoffs. That is the real trophy. That is the real trophy. Yeah. Also, shout out to y'all, Kate, for doing the TIFO. That looked pretty dope out there as well. Francine. Shout out to her.
We wish we got it on the broadcast live. They showed a slight clip of it as they started the halftime show. But
you know what they did show on the broadcast? 5. That's what they showed. 5.
Yeah.
Show 5. All right. Y'all, next week we are doing our end of the season wrap up. We're going to talk about everything from the start of the year all the way to now. There's also a fan survey out, so if you're in the Discord, please make sure you fill that out and answer it. I'm pretty sure people already have, but I'll be putting it out on Instagram and Blue Sky. So take the time, fill it out. It's like 10 questions, nothing crazy, nothing hard. We'll be talking about all of that stuff. And yeah. And we'll be wrapping the year up. I'm pretty sure we might see some of your faces out there on Wednesday. So maybe, I may record something, maybe something cool. But yeah, Matt, anything else from you, my good man, before we wrap up?
I mean, I think we're looking at a nice 4-month unbeaten run here. Let's go. Let's get it.
Be great. Kate, anything else from you, homie, before we wrap up?
No, I'm looking forward to seeing everyone on Wednesday. I'm sure there'll be some bittersweet goodbyes, but and it'll be interesting to see if we hear anything else about what this team might look like next season, whether or not the holding pattern will continue. But at least we have a happy pod to end the season, which is not something we've had for several years running. Right. So feels good.
Podcast. Happy podcast. A Derby win, knocking Madison out. It does the heart good. But all that being said, guys, we just want to say thank y'all for taking the time out of your day for listening to our show, because without you, we couldn't do this. We wouldn't want to do this. And honestly, this year, it ain't been the easiest to do this. There have been some days we texted them and been like, "You sure?" Yeah, we love doing this. End of season show is wrapping up this year. We'll put a nice bow on this, and then we'll move on, look ahead to greener pastures. But with all that being said, as always, be safe, be easy, and once again, just find a Forward Madison fan and just hold up a nice high five to them. They'll get the reference. See you guys later.